One, two, one, two, three. I am a guy from a place.
That you are.
Charm City Bipper, Quis The Vndl. Marquis is the name my mama blessed me with. I'm here with an individual who is leading a team in the city that I'm from. He's based in Federal Hill. He's a father. He's a learned individual. He's a realtor. He's is it realtor?
Absolutely. No,
I love that I can say that.
Right. Yep.
He is again the leader of Jones Finds Homes. Get with him because he gets busy and
I do get busy.
Get busy in a lot of ways. I'm glad to know this person. I'm grateful for how I met him, and we're in space in some time with minds. So, Brandon Jones.
Absolutely. Pleasure to finally have you here.
Yes, indeed.
Finally do this.
Yes.
I'm blessed.
Timing.
Absolutely. Timing is everything. And literally the timing came correct. And here we are.
We are.
Right here, right now.
So I want to start by talking about purpose. You gave me some insight as to why your team exists. What would you like for people to know about your team starting out?
Well, for starters, our team is 10 agents, 10 African-American agents centered right here in the heart of Federal Hill.
Oh, yeah. I like all those things.
Yeah. Check, right?
check.
We literally are the only full team that is here in Federal Hill of that magnitude of the number of agents that are African-American and predominantly, like I said, 100% African-American. We are here to change the narrative, change the status quo. We are centered literally, like I said, in the heart of everything. Federal Hill, Canton, Fells Point, Inner Harbor, Harbor East, you name it, we're here. And that's what we're looking to do, change the status quo.
A group of black professionals.
Black professionals
in a space. There's also black women in this group.
Oh goodness, yeah. So,
yeah, I wanted to point that out because it's also Women's History Month.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of intersections. They're young black women too. So I hear these narratives go. I don't want y'all saying all of that. Yeah. Look around a little longer.
Yeah. So I literally, I am. There's only two. Out of that 10 that we started with that are male. This is a female dominating team. Blessed. As we know, coming up, great black women are the people that influence us the most, made us who we are.
Yes,
and it's this very same way with them. They are amazing. They're amazing women, all of them. And all of them are young. Yeah. I don't want to give out any ages because you're not supposed to.
That part. Yeah, you just say young.
That's all. Yeah. That's all. Young, absolutely.
Yeah. You feel it in with your mind. And when you look at them, you won't be able to tell.
No, you will not.
You could see a black woman who's 45 looking 32. And I'm just kidding. Yeah. But I'm grateful for the intersections. I'm grateful for the conversation we had prior to this, where I found out we have a lot more intersections
a lot more than we actually thought of before we got here. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to start by speaking on what got you into real estate. Like it takes a lot to get to the point that you are.
Yeah.
Has to take a lot of overcoming. A lot of limited beliefs have to be left behind. You got to drop a lot of baggage and people at times.
Absolutely.
Where does it start?
Man, so I started this journey of becoming a real estate agent back in about 2011. I've been here since 2011. It started off for me, a mentor of mine who will be the bridge stone between who I am today and who I was, back then before real estate. He actually reached out to me one day out of the blue and told me to meet him at a property, and I did. And it was a single family home in Owens Mills. I opened the door and I'm looking around, no furniture, no nothing. And I didn't see him at the time. I'm just, caught in awe. This is a beautiful house. And before I could actually see him, another individual came into the house, and both of them started talking. And the individual said, "I like it. I want to move forward." That was the only thing I heard. They shook hands. The individual left. My mentor told me that in 2 weeks to return back to this house. So still, again, I'm just following the instructions of my mentor. That's all. And 2 weeks came by. I went back to the property, and there were about 4 other individuals at this point, all gentlemen. We get inside the house, and we all kind of stand in front of the island in the kitchen, and there's literally just paperwork being, in almost clockwise.
You can walk around,
literally.
look at everything.
It's like right sign go, right sign go. Just in that counterclockwise kind of feel. That went on for about 15, 20 minutes. And then afterwards, there was a gentleman that said, "Okay, we got everything." And everybody shook hands, and everybody left. It was just me and my mentor. And he said, "What do you think just happened right now? Like, what do you think just happened?" And I was like, "I don't know what happened. You tell me what happened." And he said, "Well, we signed some papers, and within 15 minutes, I got $5,000. And again, the only thing that happens that quick is drugs, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and spending it.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I'm like, well, I didn't see any drugs. So what is this? Right? What was this whole thing? He said, "This is real estate." And at that point, I was floored. I was like, I want to know everything about it. I want to know how to be in that space. I want to sit at a island somewhere just like this, and I want to watch papers flow. And right afterwards, I want to be able to get $5,000. So that's where it started. It started in a random single family house in Owens Mills is where the journey began. And like I said, 12, 13 years later, here we are.
That's awesome. I always speak on references in this space because there's not a lot of people who have that reference.
No.
And if they've been following this cast,
which everybody has,
they'll be building up their references.
All day.
Take that story with you and go find your gold. Go find your $5,000 moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Find the other side of the rainbow.
And what's also interesting is deals like that are not done after work. They're not done at some special time that works for you. They're often done at times that are inconvenient. Absolutely. So when the mentor hits you up, probably at 10 a.m.
Which it was. Right. Sunday, randomly, 9:30 a.m. and was like, "Hey, listen, I need you to come to Owens Mills." Okay, cool. I'm there. That's all it took.
That's the part.
Yeah.
And instruction, listening to guidance.
That's it.
Listening. And it's so heavy for me because as I sit with it, I know a lot of times I was sleeping in on Sunday mornings. It's those Saturday nights that are in the way of your Sunday morning with the mentor.
Absolutely.
And even being able to honor relationships with people older than you and take instruction is very important.
Oh, absolutely. My mentor right now is in his late 50s. So, right place, right time kind of thing. But like you said, Saturday I could have been passed out somewhere, right? Too many drinks or anywhere at this particular juncture in my life at the early age of I was in my early 20s. So I could have been anywhere and I could have missed that phone call. And like we said before, timing is everything. So timing led me to be at that position at that particular time frame, be able to take that phone call and literally find myself to, again, where I am right now, right? Imagine what would have happened if I wasn't able to make it, or I put myself in place of me not being able to be there. Based off those decisions I made.
Stay ready. You don't have to get ready.
Boom.
About that business.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
You
get busy. That's what you can't get busy if you got to
ready.
yourself.
There you go. There you go. You got to be ready. You got to be ready. Absolutely.
One thing I want to speak on is foundation as well. So a lot of people have their perceptions. This is something I've been sitting with recently because it's been different conversations about the way that Black men are showing up in our city. So it's like, well, and it's a tangent, but I've heard of people who are like, a lot of guys are wearing it. They're putting it on. They're like very street aesthetic, but they're not really of it. I have a grandmother who lived near Northeast Market, and a lot of family members who don't wear it. They are it. They are this thing that people are perpetrating. You mentioned having family near
Edmondson Village.
A lot of people don't put Black professional with that. Black is not a monolith. So I am grateful for the intersection of both having AP classes,
which we did,
and spending the summers at the cookouts and the block party
at the same time. You know, at the same time,
in finding value in both. So I wanted to bring that up because I have a lot of cousins, again, and family and friends who don't put it on.
Right,
it's in them.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't have they're not wearing the tattoos because it's pretty for a music video. They're not wearing. It's a lifestyle that they honor, and there's respect in it. But I'm bringing it up because I want your foundation to be known by individuals who believe that if you don't have that aesthetic, then you're not of Baltimore. There are people who are transplants who get to claim the city more than individuals such as
absolutely.
And I'm saying that to say, like, I'm from East Baltimore. I can say down the hill. I'm from down the hill, right? But most people won't let me claim it or don't put that with me because some people, you speak so proper. Are you even from Baltimore? Like, why is speaking proper not attached to being from Baltimore? Absolutely. That is what I have a bigger issue. This is be love. I mean, be love. Love Baltimore. Charm City Bipper. I'm from Baltimore. I'll never not be from Baltimore.
It's in you. Literally is in you. You wherever you go, essentially is still in your bloodstream. That's where you grew up. That's where, timeless memories were there. That's where you establish who you are, essentially from that upbringing and where you came from. Absolutely. And like we said, we spoke about that before we started this podcast. I mean, where we were essentially, and those avenues are literally we're more connected than we actually thought before we started. You're from East Baltimore, down the hill. Myself, I grew up in the heart of Edmondson Village. That's where I claim, and I don't stop claiming that. It never changes. Essentially, whether you're in a boardroom office type of conversation, whether you're in front of, somebody who's in real estate, for instance, somebody who's purchasing a property that is, in the county at $600,000, and they may ask, okay, well, where you from? Where'd you grow up? I'm very adamant about expressing where I'm from. Right?
And I love that where you're from is valuable to you, and that you are now increasing the value by showing that somebody from that space has come out of it,
something positive,
done something positive, and still owns it.
And the crazy thing about it is that I don't believe at this particular juncture, I don't think it's ever going to change either, but I don't believe for 1 second that if I didn't have that upbringing, I would have been I wouldn't have had the luxury, if you will, of being as successful as I am, right? We have what they call the Tale of Two Cities, right? Everybody knows it, right? Tale of Two Cities, right? You have, the great city, which is like Emerald City, if you will. You got Fells Point, you got, the Inner Harbor, all the bells and whistles, things of that sort. And then you have the city, which is like Fulton Avenue, or like you said, down the hill, things of that sort.
Chester Street.
Exactly. And and for us, it's almost like, okay, well, that part of the city, essentially, we want to get out of, right? We want to leave because of, what's there, right? Poverty is there, crime, things of that sort. But again, in leaving it, right, I always find time to return back to it. And I do so because of my love for it. I'll never, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, I will never walk away from my upbringing or where, my roots were, right? Edmondson Village, 100% is always going to be the place that you're going to hear me say I came from, right? I literally still, to this day, even where I am as far as, careers and things of that sort, I still manage to take a moment to go down to the village, go down to Brian's Chicken, Get me a 4-piece wing, Western fries, salt, pepper, ketchup, with a half and half, baby. I mean, there's no place else. I mean, I hear Royals, I get you, I got it, but no place like Brian's, baby.
Indeed, shout out to that.
Shout out to Brian's. Shout out to Brian's.
That box of love.
It's a box of love, baby. It is a box of tender love and care.
I'm in a different position with it because my grandmother's block is gone. Like they just knocked down the Chinese spot that was on the corner, and that spot was gone. Like the business was gone. It was just a shell of the space. Right. It was the last property that they decided to do something with. I'm like, so I have almost like this. I just have a strong desire, and again, I always say attachment to desires and outcomes will leave you unhappy. Find ways to alleviate these desires. But this podcast and speaking life into that space, and even making people aware of it, have given me some just sense of freedom in it all. Yeah. But yes, chicken boxes. Club music, bring that back.
Club music, bring back.
K-Swift, just the moments. Friday nights with Pork Chop 92Q going, just moments in the summer.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's literally, it's nostalgia that, this generation, of course, every generation has their nostalgia. Right. Absolutely. For us, that's what this nostalgia is. That's what it will always be. But shout out to, the continuous success of those that we have that are representing the city in terms of club music. So you got TT the artist.
Big shout out to TT.
Big shout out to TT. And, I know he changed his name, but of course, Murder Mark.
Busy.
But I mean, again, it's definitely a different space than what we're accustomed to, and growing up in those neighborhoods. Nostalgia is everything, and that's all we got now is the nostalgia.
Yes.
Right?
And I think finding ways to bring it back in a loving way,
absolutely,
and in an authentic way.
Absolutely.
Like I also appreciate your vision for this because it speaks more to value and principle than the outcome of money. Money is a thing. Clearly, we speak
want
on that.
It. Yeah,
right?
We want it. Let's not lie to ourselves.
It cannot. When it exists at the forefront, things get problematic. And I appreciate being able to see how you're balancing it. I am sitting with books. I say the quote, what they used to say, if you want to hide anything from people, you put it in a book. What are some books that gave you a lot of life over the years? Because you put up some posts where I'm like, he's talking that talk. I want y'all to know these books.
I did. So one of the things that I always teach people, whether it be the people that are on the team or whether people that I just encounter, I always tell them that the biggest success that you can have isn't necessarily a trait or a skill. It is reading. That is a necessity like eating, breathing, exercise. Reading essentially will put you in a position unlike no other, right? The more that you do it.
Yes, indeed.
I spend roughly, and again, very cheap, very inexpensive. I spend maybe $30 a month, and I purchase hardcover. I'm a hardcover person, not softbacks.
I like the vibe.
They're dirty. But, I purchase them and I read them. And again, you're talking about value, right? You're talking about an estimate cost of about $20 to $30, but it equals out to life altering changes, right? In your development, the development that will increase your wealth. So giving or sacrificing $20 to $35 to get you to a place that you would not have been in if it wasn't for that 100 or 200 page book.
Yes.
The 12-week year is essential. That's a good one. I just put a post up of some other ones, which is Don't F Yourself is a great one. That is a really good book, focusing basically on, taking yourself out of a situation, because a lot of times what we do is we fail to be successful because we put ourselves in position of going against us being successful. And what I mean by that is we create a brick wall that is actually invisible, right? We create a wall or a boundary for ourselves because, we overthink things. 100% we overthink everything, or every move we overthink. And sometimes because we overthink it, we don't move on it, right? So un-F yourself is critical to getting out of the thought of second guessing yourself. So that's absolutely a big one. God, there's so many that come to mind. It's crazy. Diamonds of Acres is a great one as well. That was one of the first books that I actually did read. This is before I actually purchased books. I used to go to Barnes and Noble, and I would read a chapter, and then I would go home.
Game.
And then I would come back the next day and I'd read another chapter because, like you said, there's a lot of sacrifice when you become a entrepreneur. And one of the sacrifices, of course, is limited income, right? When you start off, there's limited income. So, you don't get the perks of being able to go into a bookstore and just buy a book, right? Yeah. Sometimes it comes down to buying a book or eating a meal, right? So obviously I'm going to eat. So, just to stay clear of, anything that would be of a negative influence or make you feel like you couldn't, that's one of the things that I would do is I would literally go into Barnes & Noble Monday through Friday and basically go in there and just read a additional chapter of the book because at one point in time I could not afford that book, but it never stopped the grind. So again, hard times equal out, to more successful times, but you as the individual, you have to want it more than the pain of having that hard day.
And getting beyond the moment, and recognizing this is a present limit that will not always exist.
It's not going to be the constant. And that's the thing, right? With anything. The greatest thing that I actually heard, and for years, me and my mentor, we would share it between one another. We would, anytime we had like a pivotal moment, I would send him the video or he would send me the video. And then I've gotten to the point that I've actually sent it to most of the team. It's a video by Steve Harvey. And what Steve Harvey says is that we all have a parachute. Okay? We all have a parachute. But you will never know if your parachute works unless you jump off that cliff.
I love that.
And he says, when you first jump, of course, you're going to hit those rocks, right? Your knees are going to bleed. You may get teared up a little bit, so forth and so on. But you'll never know the extent of the parachute being able to, just swoon over unless you actually jump. So, in hard times or in the most simplest or basic times before things get, extensive with regards to entrepreneurship, that's what it's like, right? It's going to hurt a little bit. You're going to feel those aggravating pains because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
And guess what? It is a test that builds testimony, and every moment belongs to you.
Absolutely.
Nobody's taking those moments from you. Every scar is yours.
Every scar is yours. And you can get to the point of literally being able to point out each scar and identify, okay, well, I got this one because of X, Y, and Z. I got this one because of X, Y, and Z. It's just building character. That's all it is.
And you can pull up to do a podcast and share your scars about not making a basketball team,
which we did, which we both exactly.
I'm here now.
We share that scar now. Right. We share that scar, or what were we talking about? We talked about the girl who didn't like us, right? That's a scar, right? Shame on her now. Because look at us.
Look, guys from place.
Come on,
from place they love. Here we are.
Shame on her or them at this point.
But it is what it is. Ultimately, I'm always grateful for the lessons. I got to put the L up. You took a lot of L's. I took a lot of lessons last year. I took a lot of moments that showed me, bro, you're strong. Bro, you're resilient. You're persistent. Like life is telling you something. People are telling you something. You're not listening.
Nope.
Recently, I had a friend. He is also in real estate, which is cool. So this is
shout out to the friend.
Brother, shout out to Shem.
What up, Shem?
Shem.
How you feeling?
Keep getting busy, brother.
All right, keep getting busy, Shem.
I was like, bip. That video was on the way, if it didn't come out already. But sitting with the conversation I had with him, he said for him it was faith. his conception of faith is that he has a lot of moments where he's uncertain. He has moments where it's dark and it can be confusing and scary, but it's like, close your eyes and feel around. In this space, doors are going to close, right? Be okay with them closing. The thing that gets in a lot of people's way, and I won't even say people, a thing that got in my way is a lot of times when I was claiming faith, my eyes were open. So when that door closed, I said, that door was pretty. And such walked through there with Keisha the other day. That's not fair. Not fair. Why did he get to go through that door? And that doesn't ball. How he get on the basketball team, man, get the girl. Like, just whatever, right? But as you sit with it, it comes full circle.
Absolutely.
I understand why that door closed. That door had to close.
It had to.
So I could walk through the one that was meant for me.
Say it again. Say it again.
That door had to close.
It had to close.
So that I could walk through the one that's meant for me. So for anybody out here watching, understand that faith is unwavering. It is true trust, also something that you value, and I'm grateful to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is true trust in the vision that you've received. It's true trust in the God you serve or whatever you do. I'm not here for that. I'm not judging. It is whatever you trust, right? So when we had these faiths and these things, I'm going to go read a chapter while I have the time.
Absolutely.
I'm going to invest in myself in a way that doesn't look like investment to everyone around me. That's a big part too.
It's major.
Like, what are you doing at Barnes & Nobles, bro? It's a party tonight.
You don't know how many times, literally, it's like, you know, when
there's movie theaters out there too.
I was about to say.
That's why it's movie theaters. It was other options.
Yeah, parties going on. You got the works, right? I mean, that is the true testament of a real entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Right? You can X out all of the factors that may be things that are to you, right? They could be like, oh my God, like I have to, right? But at the same rate, when you're so laser focused on knowing that there's a bigger picture or knowing that there's a bigger mission or, you see more for yourself than, that immediate must have, movie or party or whatever, that's when you essentially you've made it, right? And not necessarily made it, but the wheels are starting to turn.
Yes.
In the sense that you need all of the wheels to start to counterproductive themselves away from, those little small insignificant things in order to start to see the big pictures.
And the way to your success is beating out your have-tos.
Absolutely.
And I sat with that so much. I do a lot of reflection, and I've come to the point where I'm like, oh, now I can tell people my reason for not eating these things that I used to eat is I had so much access to it from the time I was a very small child. I come from a family where my grandmother had 12 children. These 12 individuals, and I think one didn't have kids, but a lot of them had children, and then their children had children.
I like the movie. I like the movie voice right now. He's setting up the trailer.
Just feel it. Just feel it. Come with me.
There was a big family.
There was a big family on a block in Baltimore, East Baltimore to be specific. A big family. A lot of food at all times. If you wanted chitlins, there was an aunt for that. If you wanted ribs, there was an aunt for that. If you wanted pork bacon, there was an aunt for that. You wanted turkey bacon, there was an aunt for that.
Dang.
You wanted Kool-Aid, there was whatever I wanted.
I
had it, right?
You had it.
For a long time, I had this understanding of life, like, bro, I can eat what I want whenever I want. And I was like, I couldn't do that. I had a cousin who was eating peanut butter sandwiches. Like, how did he do that? It was Thanksgiving too.
Wow.
So when I'm saying
every little thing that you can imagine is on like a spread.
And we had salmon too.
And you go for the peanut butter sandwich. Was it peanut butter jelly or just straight peanut butter?
Peanut butter.
Dang,
bro. He showed me a different level of discipline. And I somewhat envied it. Because I was like, this is different. I was like, I want some of that. Like, right. How are you sitting?
It's literally just bread and peanut butter. But at this point, like, how can you deny all of this greatness?
I said turkey, ham, ribs, salmon.
The entire spread.
Sides, everything.
The entire spread.
Every choice, right? So he said no to all of that. And I think he had the peanut butter sandwich. He might have got busy with some green beans that didn't have meat in them because, it's meat in all of the veggies too.
It's true.
So
it's true.
Recognizing that I have this thing in my life that's always been constant. And I am like, bro, if I can change that, there's nothing I can't do.
Nothing.
So cut pork first. That was something easy because I like turkey bacon. I was like, no more beef. I'm not going to do the burgers. Just chicken and turkey and fish. Then turkey and chicken exited. Just fish and then fish. And so I say that to say, my start of my fitness journey is based on my health journey. So my food, my diet changed first. And I was like, oh, so I cut that. And it's been like 6 months. Let's go for a walk. Oh, I've been going for a walk consistently for a month. Let's go in the gym. Oh, I've been lifting weights and now the pandemic started and the gyms are closed. Oh, hey, Amazon, you got any dip bars, any pull-up bar I can attach to my door? Okay.
2-day shipping?
2-day shipping. Let's do it. The pandemic was great for that.
Wonderful.
Shouts out. So finding the opportunity in crisis,
right.
Finding the gold in spaces that people don't look for. It's just always been a constant thing for me. But I say that to say, if there's something that's running constant in your life, find a way to reflect on it and see if you can make slight adjustments. I know people who say, I can't have a fun time without drinking. I can't have a fun time without some weed. I can't have a fun time without my vice, right? It doesn't have a hold on you.
It does not.
Do not give it any more power than it deserves. I'm not saying cold turkey. I'm not saying you don't have to do it.
Right.
Just find a way to control the little things around you, and then you'll control bigger things.
Bingo.
But man, this guy, in some of the books he mentioned, y'all don't even. There's another book. There's a book I like.
What's that?
The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. And I maybe pronouncing this wrong, but he just puts a lot of little wisdoms together, and it was like a series of tweets. And I listened to it as an audible book. Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Just something that I like to reflect on a lot now because people are like, oh, you're so cool. And like, you taught. And I'm like, leave me alone. It's not about me. I'm a guy from a place.
That's it.
I'm just a guy from a place. And
leave me alone.
I'm grounded. I'm grounded in what I'm doing. So I'm grateful for the successes that I'm having because this is another moment where I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you, Mom, for creating me, and Dad, too. Thank you for the family that raised me and the community that has made me possible. It continues to make me possible because now we're at an intersection again.
Yeah.
Where you all are going to have the opportunity to reach out to Jones Finds Homes. Get yourself a house in Federal Hill, Fells Point, Canton, because I love the gyms out there.
Oh, they're great gyms.
Get into a yoga class.
Get into a yoga class.
Brother like me.
With that guy.
Or
certified yoga
certified.
instructor.
It's not like I actually have a paper for it. You want to see it? I'll show it.
It's certified. I saw it.
It's
legit.
I smile with it. I know some other yogis that I've brought into this space.
Shout out to the other yogis.
Got authors. Black authors.
We do.
And a black publisher.
We do.
That we have a lot of things in our city. Right? In our city. And that feels good to say.
Absolutely.
And there's so many consistent visions, not even just like similar visions. We have a concurrent vision.
Yeah.
How do we merge these worlds?
It's crazy. I actually heard, I rarely listen to the radio. And it's all fluff now. But this morning I was in a tude, right? I was like, I don't know what I really want to listen to. Right, we all have those moments. You literally like, I don't know if I want to listen to R&B, if I want to listen to pop,
like your ears are tired,
rock, alternative. I don't know what I want to listen to. Right, so I'm like, I just turn on the radio, and literally they ran this quote back where I guess they had a conversation about change in the city, and an individual's response was that we can't blame. Like the mayor, we can't blame council. He ended up saying that you have all these organizations, and the problem with having so many organizations is that everybody wants to be that organization, and because they're not that organization, that's where we have this disconnect. Because it's not about coming together. It's not about collectively working and using our resources. He was basically identifying that you have like 5, 10, 15, 20 organizations, but everybody wants to be that organization. And because of that, that's where there's a common divide, right?
Absolutely.
There's this overall, we can't get right because everybody wants to be the one who's right. And I think that's, you know, at the end of the day, when you look at it and you listen to it, I'm like, oh, it's got a point.
Arguing the same point.
Literally.
You're not doing, but we're doing the same thing.
We're doing the same thing. Exactly. And there are, you know, in the city right now, there are so many small or medium size, I'll use medium size, and there's large corporations or unified groups that are out there that literally pledge to change things about the city. And it's a proven fact that there is like this. I hate the term. You hear it all the time. It's crabs in a barrel. Crabs in a barrel, right? It's like it almost has like a notion, like a curse word right now. Like you hear it and you're like, oh, it's shameful. Like that's disgusting. But it holds so much weight and value. And that's why I guess sometimes, you know, we fear hearing crabs in a barrel based off the fact that it's like acknowledging the truth, but not wanting to actually acknowledge the fact that it is a true statement. And that, you know, it is a shame. You have, like I said, you have all these organizations, and, you know, everybody wants to be the number one. It shouldn't be about being the number one. It should be about coming together collectively.
I love that because that's a mentality and almost that is pervasive and just like at the forefront of almost every community within every community of our city.
Yeah.
And that is part of why this space, the initial intention is I'm nobody. I'm a guy from a place.
It's proof in the pudding.
And like I've gone to different events and I've just said like, why is it so much about you? And not that I'm saying don't love yourself. Don't stand on business. Don't keep getting busy. Like keep getting busy. Keep being the individuals that you are.
Absolutely.
But community is the unity of multiple individuals.
Community is a unity. I like that.
I always love that ending part.
Don't copyright it.
You know,
we already did it. We actually registered it earlier before we did this podcast.
Indeed.
So, yeah.
TM.
Yeah.
Just like I get very frustrated by that. A lot of the issues are not new. Yeah. I joked earlier that the one thing that's current throughout all history is people. And every new set of people thinks that they're the newest people and that they're going to do things so differently. We just have a different skin is what I call it. We happen to have high-tech devices, but we're still people who have the same basic issues: lust, envy, greed, ego, whatever
Never
else.
changes.
You run it off.
Never changes.
Right? Judgment, any negative thing. And they're not necessarily negative. It's how we embody them. Because judgment serves its purpose. I had a brother on here, True, with True Relations.
What up, True?
Turn a 1 into a 2. That brother said, realizing it can happen, rich, together everyone achieves more, team, working in numbers, win. He rattled those things off in a way where I'm like, yeah, we need more messages such as that. But he spoke on a lot of different things that I know are valuable. There's individuals who won't watch that video because of where he's from, what he's wearing, what they assume by this thing. One thing he spoke on is, it's so sad that gazelle got eaten by that lion. It was so great that I ate that night. It's all in perspective, right? I'm willing to take the back seat if the city wins. I like the idea of my city winning because I know that my children, I want them to live here in some capacity. Absolutely. I want them to know of where I came from.
Absolutely.
I want them to know of where their grandmother lived, where their grandfather and the people before them. I know that I have multiple family members who work for Bethlehem still. There is no Bethlehem still right now.
Shout it out. That's where my grandfather worked before he passed away. He worked for Bethlehem Steel. Another intersection. Wow.
No?
This guy's my brother, actually.
This is very real. This is why it's Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore.
Exactly. Baltimore, Maryland.
No question about it.
It's Baltimore. We have a Baltimore, right. But it's also small with a D. But it's also Baltimore.
Absolutely.
We have more in common than we have differences. Correct. And it is that issue where a lot of individuals are not knowing themselves well enough to build themselves and to love the man next to them, the woman, the child, whoever else it may be. But I am going to speak life into it. We're entering a phase where we have an opportunity in front of us.
We do.
There's a lot of properties.
Lots of
that are
properties
available. There
yes.
are new incentives to purchase said properties.
Mhm.
Get those credits in order as best you
Get
can.
it together. Get it together, people.
Show up to a workshop. Pool economics,
Mm.
right? I have cousins in a similar position to me. We're starting to have those conversations where it's like, bro, they want $9,000 for this down payment. Let's put $3,000 up each.
Bet.
Let's find a way to all get access to $3,000 and purchase a property. Whoever has the best credit, put it under your name.
Yeah.
That's a very realistic plan. It's
absolutely.
nothing illegal about that.
None.
If we can find 3 bands each to buy a brick, and I'm not saying we do those types of things, but I'm just saying in general, just thinking about that concept.
Yeah.
If somebody can look at a black man and believe he'll find money to buy illegal content, right? Do something nefarious. Let's take that money to build community, purchase a property, even to do services out of it.
Yeah.
What's stopping us from doing a tutoring workshop? What's stopping us from doing basic conversational events? This podcast has the ability to go live.
It absolutely does.
Have a room full of individuals having a discussion about building. But it doesn't stop at the discussion. Because when this goes off, this brother's gonna go sell some homes.
I am, actually.
Jones finds homes. The team gets busy.
We get busy.
Black women are a part of it. Black History Month was last month, but we're gonna keep that energy alive.
Black women, Women's Month. We still getting busy.
Still getting busy. It don't stop.
Doesn't stop.
You stopping yourself. Are you loving yourself? Did you hug yourself this morning?
Did you?
Listen to a podcast. Read a book. A chapter a day, 10 pages a day, 5 pages a day, read something, learn something new. You know, I'm taking Spanish. Buenos dias. It's just a little something different. I ain't got the full accent yet.
But you getting there.
Yo soy un hombre.
You getting there. You getting there.
Yo soy un hombre.
You know, if we all had that same mental, if we all knew that collectively we're better than we are divided.
Is that that part?
It's at that part.
That part.
It's at that. It's a stank part.
See, I'm like, brother, just get somebody to spot you.
That's all.
Just get somebody, like, bro, literally. You don't gotta, like, literally. And I've resented that so much as a kid. I've resented that in different projects I worked on where it was like, bro, you do this thing, just take a backseat for this project. You don't gotta be the forefront every time something comes up.
You absolutely do
I'm
not.
literally like, if I could hide my face, I would. But I know the value of perceptions and the different things that go on in our community.
Correct.
But literally, if I could just be a voice somewhere. Hey, I'm the voice of thoughts, of places that guys are from.
Yes.
And I believe that we can come together collective. Like but I'm here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to live into it proudly, gratefully, humbly, groundedly, and just sit, like I said, I want to find out how to buy a house. Should I go to Google and be weird when I'm literally sitting next to the guy who sells houses and makes it possible and has mentors and whoever else that can give me the clarity of vision? Yeah. Lean not unto thine own understanding. It does not mean keep your eyes closed and just wait for. It's like the boat's there. Yeah. That's not the boat God sent. No, that's not the person I'm supposed to listen to. He looks like me, but no, I don't trust that man. Yeah. There's no way his grandfather worked for Bethlehem still. There's no way he got cut from the basketball team and didn't get the girl he wanted.
Right.
He could have did an AP class. No, not him.
You can't.
No, sir.
We can't be the same.
No, I don't believe it.
I don't. I do not.
But we're here.
We are here.
And present. A lot of what is in our way at times is our lack of presence. And yesterday, I don't like what they did to me. They did. It's done. You're still sitting with it. Let it go to move on. Yeah. Don't let it go because that's weak. I'm not saying forgiveness for the sake of, because your forgiveness for the sake of forgiveness is just this thing, this ploy, this thing of, oh, maybe God will think I'm better because I fake forgave. Yeah. Forgive to move on. Forgiveness is, that's not even on my mind. Like I got 6 other activities I got to accomplish today. Like that's done. Oh, you're not texting back? Cool. Like I got like 7 podcasts I got to build. Do. And like family to go love on and like, no, I'm good on that. So I just wish that for anyone who's watching this. And if you are in this position where you found your healing, you found tools, hand those tools back. So we all have a younger cousin. We all have somebody in our family, in our community, who could greatly benefit from just little nuggets. It doesn't have to be this big process, because one chapter at Barnes and Nobles, he didn't say I sat in Barnes and Nobles for 10 hours every day.
I did not.
Like, what would that have done for him? Like, at a certain point, you're overloading on this thing. Like, and just to say the vanity of it, brother, I've read 10,000 books, taking no actions.
Nope.
So get your actions up. Get your wins up. Is there, what else could we speak on? And that's a silly question, because I'm the guy
who's asking the questions. So what are we doing?
What's going on?
What are we doing?
I am, last thing I'm thinking, what's the greatest advice? And I always get confused about greatest questions, but what are like some top tier pieces of advice that you've received?
God. One of the biggest things that I was told, and this is, again, I was in my early 20s. A good friend of mine, she once said to me, quote unquote, she said, don't get to 50, look around and be regretful. That's what she said. And she was using it in context to just one particular situation. But if you think of it overall, it's so broad that we can literally use that for almost anything, right? Whether it be life choices, career paths, you name it, right? Love interests. It's one of those things where it doesn't have to be like, large in words. She didn't use any like high vernacular, if you will. Like, literally what she said was so simplistic, but it has so much more meaning behind it. Don't become 50, turn around and be regretful. And I hear that in many of the situations that I'm in, the questions that I ask myself, or when a decision has to be made, because again, I follow through with the direction that was given to me, right? I don't want to turn around, age at 50, look around and say, it's all over and I got nothing for it, right? Or I made this decision. I shouldn't have made this decision. Like I said, I easily, when asking that question, I could have came with like some high powered, scripture type, so, but that is probably the one, if not the biggest, influential quotes that I ever heard and that I continue to take with me. We don't want to get to a point in our lives. And granted, it's not to say that, if you are at 50, you can't start a business or you can't be successful. That's not what it's saying. It's literally saying that if you've gotten to 50, and you're so unhappy, that's a problem. That is a pure fact. It is a problem. If you have not come and confirmed that at 50 you're happy, or at 50 you're saying, I should have done this, I should have done that. Do not get yourself in that position, because I don't know what it was about the age of 50, but
it says a lot, because there's a lot of checkpoints on the way to 50.
Exactly. Right?
Exactly.
Well said.
Like, so I'm grateful for you lifting that up. Because one of the things I say is, I wanted to, but didn't, is one of the saddest things I've ever uttered. My why list is longer than my wish list, is what powers me. That's one of my students said that, Caleb Butler, just dope individual. But like I said, these little things, keep it simple and pocketable. You don't want to have to walk around with all your wisdom in your back pocket. Like, you actually do want it in your back pocket, but in your mind.
Yeah.
So, back pocket, just things to keep you steady and goals, like mission focus, forward focus.
You literally have to be. This life that we get, obviously, is very short.
Absolutely.
Right? It is not as long as we think it is.
And time is truly the greatest asset.
Time is literally the biggest asset. I mean, money, whatever, it goes, it comes. Time, right? I'm happy, when I'm able to have a balance. Balance is key.
Yes.
Right? Being able to balance both the real estate life, the family life, the individual life, if you will, outside of both of those. So time is a measure of success, right? You have to have time in order to be able to say that, you've done what you've done and you've been successful at doing it. It's just a variable there where, again, with the time that we have to make sure that what we do is of meaning to either ourselves or is meaningful to someone else, right? Because when we're gone, that time that we put in essentially is a sacrifice to someone else's time that we think is going to take their time, balance out, and help the next person with their time. But again, time is the greatest commodity that anyone in this life can have. And the more time you have, the more that you should be doing something positive with it as opposed to wasting it, right? I mean, again, we literally only get one life to live. Just one.
Just the one.
Literally just one life, right? We're not cats. Or the idea that cats have 9 lives. We have none of that.
You can have 10,000 shoes, 50 cars.
You can have it all.
You can get 30 houses.
Bingo.
You're not getting another one of these.
You just get one of these.
Just one of these.
You get one of these.
So you can't go back to the hand shop. I mean, they are making prosthetics, you know, but this one that I came with, I like this one a lot. It's
yours, and that's the only one that you were handed.
Yes.
Well, you're handed 2, but it's crazy, right? We're talking about
only
hands.
one right.
You were handed
only one right.
Right. You were handed 2 hands,
two
right?
hands.
How crazy is that? But I mean, the just the sense of that, right? It's like,
Absolutely.
time is it's not. It has a expiration date on it.
Yeah.
And, living to the fullest of our extent, living to the fullest of our ability means that each and every day, right? I'd say it numerous times, I've said it to just the open public, right? Not just real estate agents and not just the people on the team. I'll say to them, when you wake up in the morning and you look at yourself in that mirror, you have to make sure that when you come back at night and you look yourself in the mirror, you're a different person than you were the person that left that morning. Right? That's your mission, right? With the 6 hours that you work, 12 hours you have in the day, whatever the case may be. When you walk first thing in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror, what did you do? How did you do it? To then come back and claim a very different person at night than you were in the morning.
And it's beautiful because in that span of time, you have so many opportunities. To make your day great, to make somebody else's day great. And part of what makes my day great is making somebody else's. So it's these different things that you're given to the space.
Have to.
And modeling is big. Your model of what's possible. That's the biggest part. I was a teacher for 3 years. A lot of that time I was spending it telling kids what was possible and not necessarily doing it. You could start a podcast. Look at this website. You could do this thing. Why don't y'all start a TikTok? Do this. Here I am, a guy from a place doing it.
A guy from a place, literally just
absolutely
telling the vision.
I got one of my students running around school like, guy from a place.
Nice.
Like my
free advertisement. Free advertisement.
Like, yeah. So I was just running around saying he's a guy from a place. Whatever. I'm like, that's
we might have to shut him down. Cease and desist.
I got some lawyers now.
Yeah, come on, guy. You got to cut this out. I don't care how. What is he? 8th grade?
Yeah.
You will go to jail. We will prosecute you. No question about it.
I got to bring him on here when he's ready.
Yes, you do.
And responsible enough to handle what comes with being a guy from a place.
Exactly.
There's a lot of things that come with it. You understand? So, oh man, I am grateful. I'm appreciative. And just elated for people. Go get it in the book. I'm elated, very happy. I'm very joyful to know that there are Black men going to work, and that you're a father, and there's a lot of other hats you wear that people are not aware of, and there's hats you have tucked away because you don't have to wear them anymore, but you still respect them and give them their proper value. I am a guy from a place, Charm City Bipper, Quis The Vndl. Marquis is the name my mama blessed me with.
What up, mama?
One day made better is many days made greater. I'm uplifting you to be in a world that cares. If I keep it to myself, I think that's unfair. The joys I've been given are best when shared. These visionaries never die. Legends survive through the seeds we sow daily. We get better with time. Peace, prosperity, and many blessings. Thank you, Brandon Jones.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Indeed.
Guy from a place right here.
Yes. Power to the people.
Power to the people. And peanut butter sandwiches.
Peanut butter sandwiches.
It's crazy.
Over turkey.
Over turkey.
I do the peanut butter bananas now. Almond.
Oh.
I've actually done almond butter and banana. I've enjoyed it with like Dave's Killer Bread. Try that. They're just. I got a little bougie.
It got a little bougie. It comes with time, right? Because you're a guy from the place. So literally, you've worked yourself to the point that you can successfully have and splurge.
Right, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit.
You know,
tiny bit.
It's those little things.
Little things.
Smoothies in the morning. Oatmeal with like chia seeds and hemp seeds. You know, just tea, hot tea. Okay. You know what's funny? That's not even a splurge.
No.
I laugh at diet because your refrigerator also has everything it doesn't need.
Yeah.
You try to put in these things that could help you.
Yeah.
Like if I buy the hemp seeds, I have them for like 2 months almost. Because I'm just pouring a little bit of hemp seed
at a time, right?
Like oatmeal packs, like $5 or $6. And each comes with like 10 to 12. Eat
inside
two,
of it.
It's just little wins.
Little wins.
It's
the little wins.
Yes.
That make the big wins.
And we can all be friends.
We can all be friends over the wins.
Over the wins.
Wins and friends.
Working in numbers together, everyone achieves more. Saving yourself time, energy, and money. Build yourself some systems. Keep winning.
Absolutely.
Forever.
Forever and ever.
And ever and ever.
And ever and ever and ever. I love it.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.